welcome to the MEC pod. That was my intro. That's what I got. That's all the energy I bring in. Boys, it's been a crazy weekend. It's been crazy in the MEC. I got my boys here. They left their horses in the back, but they came up front. First and foremost, we got Shibby here. Shibby, how are you doing? Can you give me a yeehaw?
It's Widowy, the MEC podcast.
All right.
You gotta cut that out. You know,
no, we're not cutting that. We're not cutting that. You stick with what you got, Mac.
You!
You!
I got you, man. Let's ride.
I can count on Mac. Thank you. Welcome to the MEC pod, like we were just talking about. I personally called this past week MEC madness because of the fact of all the craziness. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go into the episode. But first, we want to go ahead and give a special little shout out to the lovely sponsors who make sure that we're able to continue to talk about the MEC the way we do. First and foremost, we're going to give a shout out to South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. Looking for things to do and places to see along the South Shore? Wow, well, with miles of beaches, that's miles, and unique attractions, the possibilities are endless. Go out, explore, visit alongthesouthshore.com, and start your planning now. Big fan of going to beaches, by the way. I don't look like it because I don't catch tans. I like beaches. I really do. I used to go and skateboard on the boardwalk lots of times, all the time. So, yeah. Also, never done it at South Shore, though. Maybe we can arrange something there. AVDG is the leading nationwide, not national, but nationwide, commercial and residential smart system integrator. Spanning from coast to coast, AVDG is able to meticulously design and engineer systems, provide expert technology and design services, professional installation, and world-class service across the U.S. That's pretty big. The U.S. is a pretty big country. Through distinctive designs, and AVDG pioneers technology to empower end users to operate systems effortlessly, improve connectivity, position their investment for maximum long-term success, just like the teams in the MEC. AVDG maintains and secures the success of their technologies through their extensive simplicity, the service division that works continuously to monitor, adjust, and prevent system errors, which is another thing that teams in the MEC don't want to do. So make sure you guys check them out, our lovely sponsors, to make sure we get into it. But, boys!
Gentlemen.
We can call you that too, sure. I come with a very important question.
Yes. What you got, Travesty?
This question needs to be answered with the utmost of certainty.
Okay.
It's very dire. Teams here are begging to know. Who has the best strip, guys? I really just have to ask you guys this because before we start getting into the games, there's a couple teams and players. I had a couple interviews this week, and I was just sitting back like, yo, is it?
Travis, the drip just hit him way too hard.
He got out dripped.
Actually, he's
so dripping right now.
Frozen.
I dripped too hard. That's what I'm talking about. MEC overloaded me with drip. My brain is dripping right now, guys. Hurry, save me right now. Who do you guys want to go with? Shibby, we're gonna start with you with your whatever you did at the very beginning of this podcast.
Honestly, I think it's really interesting when you interview some of the people here, right? And then how they stylize with their jersey. Some people just don't wear their jersey, which I get. You forget it. It happens. It is what it is. But some people stylize it really well with a hoodie or a bomber jacket or whatever. Some people get really, really creative with the drip. But if I'm just pound for pound, jersey for jersey, I think it's a toss up between Purdue Northwest's gradient. I think it's super clean. The gradient is super clean. Also, just again, toss up between them. And I think if I'm getting these images correct, and if I'm looking at it correctly, the blue
if they aren't AI generated.
Yeah. If this is not fake news, the black with blue collar is actually so sick. And I like how like you're trying to separate yourself from just like regular sports jerseys. Like I love that. Instead of just being like, oh, here's just a sports jersey with esports thrown up on it, you know,
sprinkled on.
Like, like Gradient's clean, and then the polo, the blue collar polo. It's a toss up between those two. I would wear those normally, like out in public.
Yeah,
sure.
Mac, are you got casual wear on the mind, or which one of these jerseys would you wear to your next date that you go on?
You know, for me, Travesty, dating is a lot like competing in the MEC. When I show up, you know, I want to show out and really dress to impress. And I think the team that really does that the best is quite obvious. Really, Ohio Northern with their polar bear out on the front, the colors, the orange and black, not only is it impressive, it is classy. You know, we're trying to save the polar bears here. Climate change is coming, you know, and one jersey at a time, you know. They're reminded people, you know, that that's something to worry about. But also, I really like how, you know, I like incorporating the brand into the jersey. I think that does that really well.
Yeah, the bear claw or the polar bear claw on the thing. That's pretty cool.
That's a bear claw, right?
But Travesty, which one are you thinking, man?
Oh, I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man with simple things. I see black and red, and I'm like, that's pretty good. GPU has me. I like jerseys that you can actually incorporate clothes underneath it. So, like, I feel like you can wear, like, a sweatshirt, like Under Armour or anything like that underneath it. Or you can wear a hoodie, like a lightweight
shooting sleeve.
Over it. Yeah, like those kind of jerseys. I'm like, I love those. Like they're like an add-on to the already present drip. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I actually have 2 full closets full of clothes. So I am a man who appreciates the drip. Yeah,
for sure. And Travesty, would it be fair to say that you value the performance aspects of the GVU jersey?
I mean, they're obviously made for high performance with the way that this roster's been playing. They've only dropped 1 game while wearing this jersey. This is a fact. So, I mean, and also, I don't know if you guys saw it. Prank had the drip with the Squirtle Squad necklace on during the interview we got on Sunday. So, I appreciate that. That was pretty dope. So, they get the drip award from me.
I like how Otto is like silently crying in the corner. We only dropped 1 game too, guys.
They got black and yellow going on. I personally like black and yellow. Like I like yellow as a color combination with a lot of things.
Sure.
But I don't know. I see black and yellow and I just think back to the old song, man. It repressed memories. That was high school all over again. I don't want it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think it is a clean combo. I think they have more black than yellow, right? I think only like the front is yellow and then like some of the lines on their jersey. I think it's nice. I think all the jerseys have their own kind of flavor, I'm going to say, to it, right? Their own little
color,
color, flavor. I'm fat. I just think of food.
We prefer thick here, buddy. Okay?
Fat with a PH.
Extra C's.
Fat with a PH. There we go. I think enough about there we go, the Goku drip. See, that would be sick with the red. I think MEC, I think GVU is like one of those choices where like I don't think anybody would be necessarily mad with that color combo, right? Like I think red and black, respectable, very classic. But like I said, I'm a fan of when people go like avant-garde, right? The gradient, the blue, like and then the blue is really nice. It's like a deep, rich blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little modernism. Would you say, Shibby?
That's the farthest I go. I only know avant-garde. You get me. I don't. That's as far as my art general ed requirement took me to do in college. So enough about the jerseys. I want to know more about the players in the jerseys, Travesty.
You want to know about the players inside the? Let me tell you, I got a present for you guys. We're gonna have a hard discussion here. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Mac, you're in the hot seat now. What? All right, I want to real quick basically on 1 through 3, on the broadcast, we got like 2 weeks left of like
Yep.
MEC action. Battle for Fourth
Only
seems
2
like
weeks?
the storyline that we're talking about right now. Like it seems like the most concise, right? Like it's like the battle that is happening right now. We can see in the
Ooh.
standings. And I want to ask you guys, and I'm going to start with Mac.
Oh
Is
boy.
there a particular team or player that you're looking at, or even like a moment that you really have seen that was impressive to you as we're looking at the race for that 4th seed?
I think the race to the 4th seed is gonna, at the end of the day, come down to strength of schedule so far, right? Hear me out. I'm worried about Briarcliff here. They're 5-5 right now, as we saw, tied for 4th. Fantastic. You know, really the best that they could hope for. But you look on the other half of those standings, the top 3 teams, and Briarcliff has to face every single one of them for the next, or for like their remaining matches, right? Next week is Grandview and then Ottawa, I believe, or Ottawa then Grandview. They start their day with Ottawa, and then go to Grandview. So it's going to be a tough test for them to finish this season and try and scrape into playoffs. But what does make that potentially more exciting to me, honestly, Travesty, is if they do pick up wins in those matches, then I think that even more solidifies their, you know, conversation for being one of the top teams here. I think it will be interesting. It's tough. What really stood out to me in terms of moments you mentioned, Travesty, I want to bring up Ankh, the, you know, autofilled top laner, who's, you know, putting some smack talk down, and these regular top laners are in fact losing to him on the Alawi. Especially the games I was casting this past weekend was really fun to watch him just take over some lanes, and not only that, come up with winning plays, clutch plays at the end of the first game. I distinctly remember it was 1v1 situation, Travesty, mano y mano, and Ankh came out on top, setting the team up for an Elder Drake. On the other side of the map, you know, they heard Ankh knocking on the base, and everyone had to kind of back off and let Briarcliff kind of storm through. My eyes will be especially on them, as they picked up 2 wins this past weekend. Can the win streak continue throughout the rest of the season? That's my question.
This is what Ankh does. Ankh in the top lane. In day 2, you said Alawi? Yo, day 2, he brought out the Skarner. He was Skarner top lane. He was going redemption, second item. He was like, bring that here, boy.
Yeah.
Like, he was dragging people into the tower. Like, I love this player. This player is really coming into their own. And I like the fact you brought up this team, because they've been switching things around at the end of the season to try and pick up those wins, like you were talking about. Shibby, what you got? You're not allowed to use the same answer as Mac, by the way.
I mean, I was going to take the ONU angle regardless. I think, you know, like you said, strength of schedule is important, Mac. ONU faces Purdue. Then they face, I believe it's Illini, right? Which is, I think they're just on a tear right now. That could be really, really disastrous for them, right? I would say out of the games that they should win, ONU should beat Purdue. ONU should beat Illinois. And then honestly, it might actually come down for 4th place. It might come down to that Sunday match on March 12th, where it's literally BCU versus ONU, right?
Yeah.
Like if ONU wins 3 out of the next 4 games, they lock 4th up completely, I think. Right? Right? They just lock it down. Because like you said, BCU, if we're going by strength of schedule, if we're going what's on paper, they should lose to Ottawa and GVU. And then, like, they're pretty much out almost. They have to win that head-to-head. I think a player that has been kind of rising in popularity. I mean, everybody likes to talk about Kai. I get why. But I think, and this might be a little bit biased for me, ONU's jungler, man, is just an absolute beast. I think he does so much for their team. Like I don't like when I watch him play. Like when I've seen him and casted his games and like VOD reviewing for the team and everything like that. Like watching him kind of progress as a jungler has been a treat in my opinion. Obviously, has the best hair in MEC. That's no hands, no argument there. But like, he's willing to take like the Sejuani, the Maokai. He's just willing to be like that guy who takes the like OP picks or takes like the more standards, you know, kind
You're
of like
that guy.
yeah, the low econ, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna be like Trickster where he's gonna get like a Graves even if he wants to play it, or he's not like Punisher where he's gonna get like the Udi or all these different carry picks. He's more than willing to say, hey, I'll take the Wukong, I'll take the Sejuani, I'll play a Lilia here and there. Sejuani has kind of skirted by in the nerf train, so obviously like that's gonna rise up in priority. I think if any team wants to kind of limit ONU's impact, they ban that out and force aggression onto something else. But the fact that he just gets it so frequently and people completely disrespect him, I think aggression is just, he's kind of in my shining star on ONU. Obviously, Kai is Kai. He does what he does, but I don't think that's, that is not the full picture of Ohio Northern. And especially with such a stacked jungle pool, he's been playing pretty well.
I want to actually piggyback on this because my player was actually from Ohio Northern. I want to give another one. I won't go into great detail. I won't, do too much. But I also really want to shout out Cuz. Cuz has been great in the support role. This player, I don't know if you guys got to catch the game on Sunday in which so there was like this play where they baited out Dragon. It was like a really cool macro call where it was like they're going to go get third Dragon. GVU was on their way to go get Dragon. GVU make this decision to go through mid lane and take inhibitor, right? They grab the inhibitor.
Spicy.
And instead of that, they turn around. The GVU's coming back from Dragon looking for a fight. Doesn't give them the option to set up for a fight. Flashes over the wall with zero hesitation and headbutt pulverizes 4 members of GVU.
Wow.
And it was a almost game-winning fight against GVU, the top team. And that's why I feel like this is a team that I personally want to keep my eye on, because one of the things I've been asking for is I want to see more people show up. Kai's been the shining star throughout the entire season, and I wanted to see more of those people come into it. Got to hear a little bit from Shibby. Cuz as well. Kaido's popping off. We got the Brothers of Destruction meme starting to go on now. It's great. I love it. Another player I would love to shout out, because a lot of people hear us talk about the top 4 seed, and then they go, oh, the other 4 teams are out after this. Everybody makes playoffs, right? Your run's not over when you get into playoffs. It's just very important to get to that top 4 because it does set you up for the double elim part of it. The bottom part of the entire bracket, and this is where I think we might see a spicy run come in. Purdue has been gelling together despite a really quick roster change that had to have happen in the middle. We have had Tiger Star popping off, and for me personally, the big star of this roster, Toponer, coming in and really is maintained that aggression and constantly has been pushing the envelope forward. It's always a treat watching this player alongside Udon Budon. They're just like, it feels like an unstoppable duo.
Yeah, in Travesty, it's Toponer's last season for CLOL. So for Purdue Northwest, a lot of these players, when you have to make these mid-season adjustments, they're going all in with, their potential season. And when I think it's like his last one, I think it adds on a lot more meaning to it. And there's, I think, that investment for like when you kind of understand this is my last season, this is my last chance. I want to leave everything on the Rift. I want to put it all out there. I don't want to leave anything left to give with it being my last one. So I think it good for you, Travesty, bringing them up. I'm excited to hopefully see them make a big playoff run with it being Toponer's last season and see if they can make it work. Because Tiger Star, he's been able to go toe-to-toe with some of the best junglers here in the MEC, so I think it is a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, I think the Cinderella run from Purdue Northwest is like entirely possible, right? Like they
100%.
they face BCU, like if they win those head-to-heads, like they win. I think one of their games got rescheduled, so I think we'll figure out the standings a little bit later. But the Cinderella run is like definitely possible, and they could like easily sneak forth under BCU and ONU, right? Because maybe they're not being taken as seriously, maybe there's not as much prep time is given to them because of how like Mac pointed out, BCU and ONU schedules are a little bit more stacked. They could easily like just be discounted or underestimated. And like you said, Travesty, I feel you on like the gelling. Like they look more in sync than when the roster moves happened the first time around.
They've been gelling together. They've been getting things together. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 2 weeks hold for them and what things go, because there's just so many interesting storylines, some heartfelt moments that are definitely felt inside of that team. But I want to go ahead and go into a place that's very near and dear to my heart. Gentlemen. Let's scoot on closer. Come on, scoot in closer. We get cozy, get comfortable. Let the chaos. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay. We had some really interesting champion picks. What the hell was going on this week in MEC? I called it MEC Madness. Sunday was 2 O's, but not a single one of them felt like 2 O's. And we had some crazy champions. Like, we already touched on a little bit. Alawi and Skarner got played top lane.
Yeah.
We had some interesting picks. What was the big one that stood out to you guys? What are you guys at? Shibby, I'm gonna hit you up real quick because you're the one that has to crunch the numbers when these plays happen.
So are we just saying like in the past week or just in general things that
just in general? What's the big pick that's kind of
it's always chaos, isn't it?
So like I think it was a couple weeks ago. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago now. I think a Silac, they lost this game against BCU, funnily enough, but he ended up taking a page out of Moose Hater's book in the NACL and CL stuff. He went Garen in the MEC. I love it when picks get transferred over, right? Like you see, it's like, man, I could play Garen. Like I could do that. I think Illini as a whole, I think that honestly, he's a mad chemist in the bot lane, right? The Cho'Gath support, it was a horrible debut. Don't get me wrong. I actually don't think it was a good pick, but he made it work later on. He was hitting some very crucial knockups. He was hitting some very crucial silences to mess up rotations. I think, like you said, the Caitlyn support, like he is a mad chemist in that bot lane. I think Illini, I think we talked about this in draft. They're like really, really hard to draft against. Not because they necessarily have like multiple comp mastery like Ottawa where they run like poke, hard dive, disengage, all this weird stuff, all these like weird comps. Individually, some of their players can just like throw you for a loop and flex stuff anywhere on the map, and it's really nice. Like I think they had a mid Graves game at one point. Silas support, obviously, that's kind of like ingrained in my head. I've been really, just as a whole, I've been really liking to see what Illini has been willing to pull out, especially since everybody makes it, like you said, to the playoffs. Try whatever, man. Like these are just like live scrims at that point.
For me, guys, the first pick that comes to mind was just yesterday, talking about the weekend of madness. Senna Tom Kench in the bot lane for Toponer going into the Cho'Gath. It was a real spicy series between Illini and Purdue Northwest, something I hope has gone to almost 3 games both times. So the Senna Tom Kench Toponer trying to kind of find his identity in the bot lane this season after the mid-season shifts, and for the most part the pick actually looked really good, and they were going actually demolish mode on Lubhart and Newbie, who were just completely caught off guard. Like from game 1 to game 2, I don't think me and Chibi have ever seen a switch like that come across in just like the raw lane matchup. So that was definitely something that stood out to me over the weekend.
My pick, I'm known for being a bit unorthodox.
Okay.
At times, I've been told.
Mix it up.
I can be a little loony, you know. I'm gonna go for something that I feel like flew under the radar, and it's not because the champion is unique here in the MEC. What's unique about this champion is the fact that it has been played in 4 out of 5 roles, and that is Silas. I think Silas has. Yeah. The interesting thing is every conference kind of shifts its own meta around based off of what people are wanting to play, or if there is a shared champion. Silas has been that champion. It's been top lane, it's been jungle, it's been mid lane, it has been support. The only role it hasn't been in the MEC has been in that marksman / bot lane role, right? Like, it's the only place where you haven't seen it yet. and people are pulling it out. And I love the fact we're seeing it as a diverse champion that is getting played into. When people try to do something wacky like choke half support, give me the Silas, baby. Let's go. I'm gonna be big Silas. Didn't get the win there. I was surprised about that.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
I mean, Silas and the MEC feels like it goes hand in hand.
We're gonna see Silas plus Senna-bot, dude. That's what's gonna happen now. You've caused it already. Travesty. It's gonna be fasting Senna with Silas.
So we theory crafted this because me and Rebel Thoughts, my co-caster on Sundays, we talked about this and we were like, fasting Senna isn't as good as farming Senna. It feels like as much as we know how the changes have happened with Senna. It doesn't feel as good, right? So what we were talking about was instead of doing Silas plus Senna,
sure,
you do Silas, Pantheon.
Make not go for minions. You try to farm champions. I see.
Exactly.
Yes.
Who can tango with Pantheon Silas? You go press the attack on the Pantheon. I'm just saying, guys, it can work. You can make it happen, right? You just do your empower W, and it's great. It's great. Come on, just do it. I want to see Pantheon, please.
And then Caitlyn Karma comes out, and you just never touch a CS. You never touch the wave. You're perma-stuck under your turret. You're calling for jungler help. Like Punisher's coming in with Udyr. Just, I'm going to dive these fools right now. I can already see it.
I'm about to dive them so hard.
This is why you take flash W. You flash, you W, you do it all. You would take it night. You
right.
Him to her Chris, kill him level 1. Great.
Well, Travesty, are you the Pantheon or the Silas player in your mind? Yeah, okay.
Pantheon is one of those champions that makes other people not have fun, so I'm the Pantheon, yes.
I think what's also interesting as well is like the champions that get banned that normally wouldn't be picked, right? Like obviously Killian's Rumble. I think he's like all the Rumble bans in MEC. There's no way he isn't. Also, the Kindred for like Trickster. I think me and Mac interviewed him this past weekend, and he's like, dude, I can't play like my champions. Like, I don't get Graves, I don't get Kindred. Like, I can hear the defeat and like sorrow in his voice. Like, man, I gotta play like Elise. I gotta play like Maokai. Like, I can tell he like hates those champions. So I think it's really interesting, like when you see like Skarner bans for Ankh, like that's absolutely hilarious for me.
It's funny too because he also gets the Kindred open in some games, and it's almost like he just assumes they're banned, so he's like, I can't play it, it's gone.
yeah. I feel really bad. I feel really bad for some of the players that are like specialists, quote unquote, right? Sure. Or like have like a deeper understanding on certain champions that they just never get to play it.
They've become one.
Shout out to Killian, man. yeah. I like shout outs. I think he got it one game, and like that was it. I think it was permabanned against him.
Do we put Pranks Gwen in that conversation as well for like signature champions? Both times Illinois College, I think, regretted not banning it.
I feel like it's still signature. Like Prank still pops off on it, but it's been the Jats that has been really impressive from Prank.
I was about to say, I was about to say, like the hard carry top laners, right? Like the Jax, the Gwen, the Camille as well. I think he literally played like one game as Sejuani top, and he's just like, I don't know if we could curse, but he's just like, Pikachu. He played one game, he's like, I don't want to do this ever again. It seemed like. So it's really, his champion pool is like a nightmare to draft against, I think.
And I don't think Mastermind is going to be getting Darius for the rest of the season, unfortunately. That's been on, there's like a most wanted list in all the coaches' draft rooms, in Mastermind's Darius is close to the top of that list, especially just in general. After the LAN, after, you know, a few big plays there.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have played in like a competitive league before in League of Legends, but I've had the experience where I've gotten a pentakill, and the very next game, I got 5 bans thrown at me, and I was just like, guys, please stop it. I'm like, let me eat, please. Like, they took away everything from
Let
me.
him cook. Let him cook.
I got one pizza and they pulled up my OPGG. It's like, all right, he's not getting York. He's not getting Darius. He ain't getting Garen. He isn't getting any of the fun champions. He's not getting Urgot. He's not getting Aaron. It's like, come on, please.
I think
Somebody help
actually,
me.
I actually have a horrible story of why. Like, it's not that why I don't play competitive. There's more reasons than that. Like, I don't compete in amateur stuff. I just don't have the time. I think
Right.
one time when I was like 17, I used to be like a break dancer way back in high school, and we
No
got
way.
like free tickets.
Is this
I,
real?
I swear, this
is
is
real
deep
life.
lore. This is
Shibby?
deep lore.
This is
yeah,
a deep cut. Shibby.
This is a deep cut. When I was 17 years old. When I was 17 years old, right? We went to this like anime convention thing. It was like
Sure.
one that was put on. It wasn't like one in like a big one in my area or like in California. It was like one they were trying to start up from the area where I was raised in, right in the Central Coast. God, that was the worst. It shut down years later. It was called Anime Icon. We got in because we were hired as performers, and the payment was like free tickets to go in. And they had like a League of Legends tournament.
Cool,
Just
cool,
think
cool.
of the worst like LAN, like it's just 2 tables in a room, like old grass. Yeah, like, I'm painting the picture for you right now. Like 5 computers here, 5 computers there, back and forth. I think this was like season 3 when they implemented like
The
that
glory
little-
days.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they implemented the rune where you would spec into it 18 points and you would get like the little ward for 50 seconds or something?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was playing support, and we somehow let Darius through in season 3. This guy locks it in, and he screams, "Oh yeah, Bioforge Darius!" We get absolutely
Pikachu!
slammed 3-0 in that one match. I never played competitive League of Legends again. My AD carry flamed me because I didn't ward one of the bushes with the 50-second ward as Tarek, and Bioforce Darius absolutely slammed my team, and then we had to go perform after. That was the worst. And at like the most janky anime like convention, some dude, like this was anime way back, like 10 years ago, right? So people are dressed as like Naruto, Samurai Champloo, all like the anime Full Metal Alchemist, all this stuff, dude. It was horrible, dude. That's why I don't play competitively.
All right. Well, we got Shibby lore. Now I have a demand. If I ever get Shibby at a LAN, I want to see a Spinneroony. We're gonna call it a Shibberoonie.
Yeah,
And that's what we'll call
There's
it.
There's videos of me out there.
Oh,
Is this like Le Punisher's Gragas montage where there's just deep lore waiting for us to check out?
I was like 17 when those videos came out.
Release the montage.
If you find those videos, it's 2 battles of me.
It's a
keyboard
battle?
battling. Yeah, I competed in like battles.
Did you win?
It was, like, no.
Like,
no.
it's like-
Okay.
It's like the
The
Tekken
reason is-
breakdance fighting.
Did you get
I
destroyed?
competed
Imagining
against
that.
2 children. To this day, I competed against like 2 8-year-old children. I'm like, you can't win that. There's no winning that. I just had to like compete.
All
was
right,
horrible.
well,
Guys, let me know if you guys
I-
ever find those videos.
I want to get you away from this because I feel like you're going down a rabbit hole of your like the PTSD is gonna start hitting you any moment now. You're gonna think of the
Trees
8-year-old
are
that
talking.
beat you at breakdancing. You're gonna think of the Skechers that flew off their foot and hit you upside the side of the face.
They came
I
in
wanna-
on Heelys, and Chippy was like, "Oh my
no,
god!"
the Heelys.
He had the bike helmet just ready to do head spins.
All right.
Oh man.
Let's do a head spin out of this conversation. Let's go
That's a good
over
segment.
into who you guys are going to think. Right, we still have 2 more weeks, right? But
Yep.
majority of the season has come by. What are you guys thinking is most improved? Mac, we're gonna start with you in regards to who are you looking at for most improved inside of the MEC? It's a hard question. There's a lot of good answers.
You know, I saw this question, got in the shower, and you know, really tried to get the shower thoughts going of, you know, who best fits this mold of the most improved player, who has, like a little caterpillar, gone into this cocoon of the MEC and has emerged into a beautiful translucent butterfly. And I think, honestly, for me, the player that best fits that description is none other than Illini's Lampard. I know he's in the conversation for MVP, but I feel like over the course of this season, there's been a real challenge for this team to come together and play at the level that they are to really find success as a team in their first season in the MEC. I believe this is like a new roster for them. We've heard a lot of the players talk about, you know, sort of their initial challenges and what they've kind of had to work through to get to where they are now. 7-win streak, blazing hot. Really, this whole team as a whole comes to mind for this sort of, you know, thought of narrative growth. And I just want to shout out that team as fighting through, you know, the challenges of a season and coming out, you know, looking pretty darn good.
You know, wholesome. I like it. From the started from, I can't even say the bottom because they've been looking good.
Started
season,
0-2,
right? Yeah, they started 0-2, but they had a rough start. But
Yeah.
now they're what? They're 7-0 in their last 7 games, right? Like they haven't. They're on like a 7-game win streak or something like that, right?
Notably haven't played Ottawa again. So we'll see. You know, I'll leave that. I'll drop that little future hype of a potential matchup. The little tidbit.
Little nugget.
They don't play. They don't play until the when is it the last week they play again?
I think it's the last week, right?
Or is that the actually for them?
I think it honestly got rescheduled because
I think
It's
the
the
game's today.
reschedule.
I think the game's today. I
Oh,
think,
what are we doing here? Let's go watch that.
I think it's getting
End
played
podcast.
offline. I think Le Punisher said, right? Yes, he's like, that gets rescheduled for Monday. Unless my clock is broken, today is Monday.
Yeah, it was originally this Saturday.
Allegedly,
on the
today
25th.
is Monday.
Yeah, allegedly today is the 27th, 7 o'clock Eastern time right now. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I have 2 players. One of them is also from Illini, but it may not be someone you expect. I think it's a Silak for me. He honestly has been like he's honestly been rising as a top laner in my mind, right? As like Illini's, I'm gonna say secret carry, right? Because like all the attention really goes to like Le Punisher, Noob Sleep Early. They make all these plays with bot lane, obviously Loveheart and all of them. Very, very solid. But like a Select just like sometimes will just flat out win losing matchups. Or he'll play like some of the like the most heinous, like they'll put him on like some of the worst matchups I've ever seen. And he just like comes out like effective, right? And that's the like, in my opinion, the mark of a very good top laner. Not like obviously you're gonna losing matchups. Top lane, I think, is one of the lanes I think is the most matchup dependent. And like he'll play stuff like Scion, he'll play stuff like Ornn, right? Like he's showed a lot of flexibility. He plays Jace, Irelia, and like they don't really give him too much counterpick as well. So it's been really cool to like kind of watch him blind certain top laners and say, hey, I know I'm liable to get counterpicked here. I'm liable to just get absolutely like jungle pressure, all this stuff. But given like how much attention goes into that bot lane, given how much like attention he doesn't get, he's honestly been one of the better players on Illini's team. That has improved steadily. My other shout out really quickly is definitely Fat Cat as a support player. He has been like, honestly from week 1 to week now, you can see his evolution as a support player, how much he's roaming more, how much more impact he has on certain champions, like what he's doing to facilitate his team. I don't want to compare him to Udon, but I think that is the best comparison for him in terms of like his roam timings, his gank timings, everything like that. I think he's one of those players that has picked up a lot from other teams and has honestly just been improving really, really well. It's just unfortunate, obviously, their first debut or their first couple like weeks have been really, really unfortunate in losses, but like he is my shining star. Definitely Fat Cat has been super good and has improved as at the support role very well.
Okay, I get to give mine now. You guys aren't ready for this.
You're up to bat, man.
I get to T-pose on you all with my picks. That's what I'm talking about. First and foremost, I'm gonna go somewhere that probably people don't think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna actually go to IC, and I am actually going to go to Sage. I think Sage is a phenomenal player who has been getting better and better. I like the fact that they have moved Sage into the jungle, because for me, Sage has been improving, but has also been one of the best performing carry players on the roster. And it feels like this team does find success whenever Sage is able to move around. Also, even though they've moved into the jungle, there's an innate synergy that still remains with Lone Force, who has been roaming alongside with them. Their game on Sunday was actually very impressive. Like I said, it was a night of 2-0s, but it's still very competitive the way that they're actually able to play at the game. I think this is actually a team that could surprise some people when we're going into playoffs, because they're basically locked into the lower bracket for sure.
Yeah.
But they're a dangerous team in the Gulag. I think this is a dangerous team in the Gulag. This team is actually scary when it comes down to it. So I'm a big fan of Sage. I think Sage has grown exponentially. Another player is going to, for me, be Tiger Star. Yet again, I'm going to another team that swapped around their players. An unexpected roster change is hard to get used to. Tiger Star has gone from a top laner who started off the season saying they are meant to do this. This is what they're meant to do. And has shifted over to the jungle with grace. Brought out the silver tech and took Trickster down in a game, right? Like in their first game as an autofill jungler, right?
Yeah.
They come in with the Hooter and they slap Trickster across the face. MVP candidate. Throw him down, bury him 6 feet under. Of course, Trickster did dig themselves out in the following games, but it's still just the fact that Tiger Star has been able to adapt to the role, has been playing admirably well, has been getting better, and as they were getting better in top lane, they go to jungle, and then they start getting better there too. Tiger Star, for me, is a player that I feel has been very much so improved with a lot of adverse scenarios that they've had to power through for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. And just a quick shout out from me. I want to first thank Shibby for this one, because you're an amazing partner in our little crime that we call casting, with reaching out to teams and stuff.
Don't cry.
I'm trying to hold back, but I remember, Shibby, from your conversation with GVU and the transition that they've sort of had to go through after losing 2 really big players. Coach talked about with you, Shibby, how Pluto really has kind of stepped up for the team as someone to really help them with that transition, switching up rosters for. I think one thing in our kind of early stages of college esports, there's really, I think, an issue of consistency. So I'm really impressed when programs are able to establish some semblance of that, because it means they really got a good foundation. And so I'm even more impressed when good players will kind of step up and fill those shoes and fill that role for, you know, this GVU team to end up back where they are from last season.
Shout outs to all the coaches that respond to me. I really appreciate it. Even some players I talk to and all that stuff. I really appreciate you guys, you know, reaching out, talking to me. I love it. DMs are always open. So
Slide in.
Water slides open.
Pretty much.
I do love that whole bit did start with what sounded like it was going to be Mac breaking up with Shibby.
I was like in our casting crime, but now our Bonnie and Clyde has to leave. I was like, all right, cool. That's fine.
Mac's like, Shibby, there's another. I'm sorry.
Hey man, he got to cast with Afternoon, right? The other day, I was catching a little bit of
and RMC. There were 2.
Hey, if you leave me for RMC, I can't even be mad, dude. I can't even be mad. RMC's a god. He's a saint. I love him.
I mean, I don't know. He's not even a canon minion. I don't know about that. Yeah. Set your expectations higher. You can do better.
Goodness.
Well, with that being said, we've kind of come to an end of our time. I have one last thing that I have to bring up. It's not a part of our itinerary, and it's something that I have to do because I need to catch up. I need to come at somebody here inside of this, and you know who I'm talking to. Shibby, look at me, Shibby. You want to talk trash about War Turtle? Huh?
Oh, dude. I'm pretty sure I will get hate mail if we like do Pokemon takes. You should have heard Hyper in like my ear when we were doing the game the other day. He was like, "What are your takes?" Like, don't like stop. Like he was just screaming in my ear. I loved it. I honestly, I think some of my takes, they toe the line for sure.
Yeah, they're very.
It's not on purpose. Like that's just genuinely how I feel. That's just genuine. I'm not trying to be like what is it? Are you trying to be like the opposite of something? I'm blanking out on the word.
Contrarian.
Man. Contrarian. Thank you, Hype. You're trying to be. I'm not trying to be a contrarian. That's just really how I feel.
I mean, your takes are just as bad as Chikorita in Gen 2.
I just want to say, like, in terms of takes, you know, Wartortle, right? That's a Garbodor level take, okay? I'm not dealing with it. No more Wartortle slander on my MEC. He's protected. But that ends things for us now. I've laid down my threat. Shippy knows what will happen if I hear more Wartortle slander. I'm keeping my ear. I'm watching when I'm not casting. I watched the first 2 games. Okay, Shippy? I'll know.
I'll just slander him in Vaudeville with Mac. When we do it this Wednesday, just casually.
I'm gonna be there too.
We're gonna be like, man, we could really
trash.
fill in this time with Wartortle slander.
I'm gonna be there. Mac, send me the link.
Just has it record like I got him, guys. This is it. Cops, get him.
Well, that's it for us here for the MEC pod. I'm still going to call this episode MEC Madness because I think it was chaotic. We had a weekend full of 2-0s that shouldn't have been 2-0s. We had a lot of games where players were turned on their heads. Lots of chaos, lots of madness, a lot of unique picks throughout all of MEC, but it's really feel like it's coming into its fold. We got 2 more weeks of MEC action before we start getting into the playoffs, and then we're going to see who will come out on top of the Midwest Esports Conference. But so good. It's so good. I want to give another special shout out to ABDG and South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority again for just, you know, being wonderful and making sure we have more time to talk about the MEC. Lads, is there anything you want to talk about before we close things out? Anything you want to say?
Shout outs to the players. Obviously, shout out special to Hyper and Jay in the background. Like, honestly, they make us look so good. Hyper deals with so much, man. I can visibly hear his stress during some of the production, dude. And it's like you couldn't pay me enough to do his job. I would never take that. And same with Jay, man. Some of the stuff that, like, when he told me, like, oh yeah, like on my Pokemon tier list, I got like hate mail. Like, what are you people doing, man? Why are you sending hate mail to Jay for a social media take? Like, that is loser mentality stuff. So shout out to them. They honestly put up with a lot more than I think any of us really do.
Jay suffering. I do not stand that. Hyper in my ear suffering. I mean, I could go. It's cool.
As the DM of my D&D game, you endorse and cause that.
But I do want to just send out my warmest wishes of much love to the lovely MEC community. It's been such a thrill to be on here for the podcast, to dive into some of these topics and the players and the teams a little bit further. And I'm super excited for the rest of the season, man. And come playoffs, it's going to get really exciting.
All right. Well, mine's simple. I'm just going to shout out Rebecca for the Wartortle plushie that I got to see. I'm cool with it. That's all I need. Yo, we're done. We can leave. We're good. Hasta la bye-bye. Yeehaw!
You!